Welcome back to Midday. Our first guest joining us, Julia Clapp from Abbott Wealth Management. Thanks for being here, Julia.
Thanks for having me, Tanya.
So last week we talked a little bit about Valentine's Day with Shelby, but this week we're back to taxes. This is our theme with Abbott, as I always mention. It's tax season, and I think everybody's got their T4s or they're in the process of getting them. So we're talking about taxes and a different topic surrounding that every week. And today it's all about registered retirement savings plans versus tax-free savings accounts, right?
Yeah, so I think it's a really common question for a lot of people, whether or not they ask their advisor about it or not. It's just that kind of uncertainty about, well, why should I do either, or which one's better for me?
Or do I even need it, and how does it work? Yeah. Okay, so which is better, TFSA or RRSP?
Yes, so the short answer is it depends.
Okay.
Which I feel like I say a lot of the time. But it does depend on a lot of different things, and the number one consideration is tax.
Right.
So the tax treatment of the funds in and out of the accounts is essentially the most important factor.
Right.
So with an RRSP, it's a tax-deferred savings vehicle. So because you put in your pre-tax dollars, you get a deduction after you put the contribution in.
Okay.
So you get that tax back. You have to pay that tax at some point.
Right.
So the government is always going to want their share of the taxes. It's just essentially to set you up for retirement.
And don't withdraw that money from that RRSP. If you don't have to, you will get taxed really badly on that.
Absolutely. So that's really important to consider is when you'll need the money and how you're going to take it out. So the tax-free savings account is a little bit different in that you put in after-tax dollars.
Okay.
So you don't get any tax benefit to put the money in, but your investment can grow tax-free.
Okay.
There's no taxable implications after you put money in.
Right.
So that's a really important option for flexible income. So if you're going to be taking money out, large sums of money for a specific purchase or something like that, the tax-free savings account is definitely
the way to go.
Yeah. Because you don't have to factor that into what income you're earning when you're taking the money out.
Right.
However, thinking about retirement planning, there's definitely a purpose for both of them.
So there's a purpose for both, but is there a better time to use one or the other?
It really depends on your purpose. So if you're...
Or you could have both?
Absolutely.
You could have both, okay.
Yeah, and I would definitely encourage both in most situations. But it really depends on that purpose. What are you going to use the money for?
Yeah.
Even if you're using it as a retirement planning strategy, it's what are you going to use that money for in retirement?
Okay, so let's put our next slide up here.
So we're going to check out some examples.
Yes, I like this. This is good. People are going to take some notes. We've got Emma, and she's a teacher.
She's a teacher, yes. So Emma earns about $70,000 a year, which makes her in the 28.2% tax bracket.
Okay.
When she retires, her pension income, which is CPP, OAS, and her teacher's pension, will total about $60,000 a year.
Okay.
So she's in the same tax bracket when she retires as she is when she's working.
Right.
So there's no tax savings to use an RRSP.
Okay.
So
her choice would be tax-free.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's no real benefit to using the RSP to get a tax deduction, because it's like I'm going to pay 28% tax now, and I'm going to pay 28% tax later. Right. I might even pay more than 28% tax later because of how I'm going to take the money out.
Right. Okay, so you really do have to know what works best for you.
Absolutely.
And the other example we have is, I can't remember his name. Let's have a look. Liam. How did I not know that? That's Bill Donovan's new grandson's name, everybody.
Fun. Great name.
So he's an accountant. How much would he be earning a year?
So about $110,000 a year, which makes him in a 38.29% tax bracket.
Okay.
So Liam does not have a company pension, as is generally standard for that type of profession. So he has to rely on his own personal savings once he reaches retirement.
Right.
So his pension income in retirement is only going to be CPP and OAS, which will be about $21,000 a year. So his tax rate later for guaranteed income is only 20% tax.
Okay, so it's
so he has 38 now
and
versus
he'll be going
20%
down
later.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's the whole idea of that RSP, right? Is that I'm gonna put it in when I'm earning at my highest rate and paying the most amount of tax. And I'm gonna take it out when I'm earning the least and pay the least amount of tax.
Okay.
So that difference, that 18% difference in the tax rate is what you're saving.
This is good because I've always wondered what, you know, should I have the TFSA or should you have both? Should you just have RSP? But you're right, it totally depends on your income and your tax bracket and everything like that.
Yes, so super, super important.
Okay, I think we have another slide that we only have about a minute left.
Perfect. So essentially it's
this is a good one.
Do you really want to
raining taxes?
Raining taxes. So you want to shelter with your little umbrella by using your registered accounts, and ideally keep that money in your pocket and not pay it to the government.
Of course.
Right? Isn't that the goal?
Absolutely it is. Good information right during tax season or just ahead. Thank you so much, Julia. Really appreciate that. To get a hold of Julia or any of the team at Abbott, there's the info. We're back in 2 minutes on Midday. Don't go anywhere.